What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the live portion of 88 Fitness every Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern.
Bright and early.
Today we're talking about the best, number one, best cardio for fat burn. You can only pick one. But first, updates. So I lost another 2 pounds this week. Obviously, it's slowed down some. I'm starting to get hungry, but I'm not hurting yet. If you've done a prep, you know exactly what that means. If you haven't done a prep, you don't know what that means, and I can't tell you what that means. You have to do a prep, and then you'll understand. But still not hurting. 219. I have to get under 207 to make weight, so I got a ways to go yet. But we're 13 weeks out. I got plenty of time, and I'm ahead of the game.
Yep. In terms of me, I'm supposed to be maintaining. I ended up losing a pound, so that means I got to add more food in for this upcoming week. Yes.
That's always a good thing.
So I've got another 6 weeks to go until it's my turn to start cutting down for a 20-week prep to the stage. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep loading those calories in as much as I can while trying to keep my weight the same. Other updates, our sponsored athlete Samantha Harris competed last night. OCB Conquer down in Catonsville. She did fantastic. She ended up placing second place in Bikini Open Class C. And let me tell you, this competition was totally stacked. 189 athletes, and every class in bikini A through E was absolutely jacked. So we are just so proud of Samantha. She absolutely went out there and crushed it.
Way to go, Sam.
Woo-woo!
If any of you know anything, 189 athletes is enough to tell you the competition was tough.
It was steep.
Yes. All right. So, number one, best cardio for fat burn. You can only pick one. What's the best, Camille?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy we put some parameters around this, and said the fat burn, not just number one best cardio, because I got duped last week. If you didn't see it, check out the video. But yeah, I would say it's highly individualized, but if we're talking hands down, best one, I'm going to say it's running or sprinting.
Interesting. So I'm going to give you mine, and this is just from years of experience. I'm not even sure there's a scientifically backed answer to this question. Does cardio matter as long as you're at your target heart rate? I don't really think so.
Right.
But I do have an answer, and this is based on 20 plus years experience with clients, with people. The number one best cardio exercise is swimming.
That's a good one.
Swimming. There is absolutely no impact on any joint.
Mm-hmm.
It does not beat you up. Unfortunately, you need to kind of find a lap pool to make it work. I mean, you can make it work in a backyard pool, but it's not really ideal. You need a lap pool where you can really stretch it out, get your heart rate up, and get going. Many clients over the years have joined a pool just for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they go and swim their laps, and they would drop weight like crazy. It's
absolutely
crazy how fast swimming works for my clients. I've never done it. I'll swim every once in a blue moon. I'll go swim for a workout, but not on a regular basis, and definitely not during prep.
I can never get the breathing right to make it cardio. I just feel like I'm dying after 2-3 laps in the pool, but yeah.
Yeah. And I've tried treading water, but I don't think you're going to get your heart rate up. I float too much for that. If you sink, maybe you can get your heart rate up treading water, but I think swimming laps, you're going to be a better bet. Now, you don't have a pool. You don't have access to a pool, and it is kind of a pain. I mean, these clients had to drive to the next town over to get to the pool to swim laps, so it wasn't convenient. So after swimming, I have one and a half.
Oh my goodness.
After swimming, the number one best cardio is, and this again is based on years experience, running.
Absolutely. I mean, you're using so many of your muscles, it's total body, it's explosive. You're really getting that heart rate up. So it's really excellent. Unfortunately, I can't do that. It really beats me up. I have knee injuries. So that constant impact is not great. If I do run, I like to do it more interval style where I'll hit a sprint and then kind of catch my breath a little bit and then sprint and do it that way. So the duration's a little shorter for me. But again, I don't do it.
So running's great. and you will drop weight real quick if you start running. However, it will beat you up. And if you're 46 like me, and you're over 200 pounds like me, running will beat you up. Ankles, knees, hips, lower back, it hurts. So even though the results are great, you better ease into it slowly and build up, or do like Camille said, run intervals, and again, ease into it, because it will beat you up enough that you can't get a good leg workout,
Right.
and that's not the game we're playing.
The other thing, I feel like you have to be a little careful and really use that running as a cardio tool just to lean out, because if you actually look at a marathon runner's physique compared to like the, Olympia physiques, they're totally different. So if you end up kind of overdoing that, you could kind of atrophy some of those muscles. But I mean, that's extreme.
You just stealing my thunder all morning
yes!
this morning.
This is payback for last week.
If you are a runner, running isn't your best bet.
That's a good point.
Your body's adapted and used to running. So all you can do is run faster or run further.
Yeah.
If your body's not used to running like us, then you will drop the fat.
Right.
Like this. But if you run 5 miles every day and you've been doing that for years, and then you say, oh, I'm going to run 5 miles for my cardio.
It's not going to do it.
Your body's adapted. It's used to that. It's nothing.
Absolutely.
There's no progression there. There's nothing.
That really applies to every medium of cardio. I have clients all the time, like they do incline walking on the treadmill. And after like 4 months of doing that, it's like, okay, we need to crank up the speed. Don't hold on, or you need to do something different because you're not burning the same amount of calories. You became really efficient at that.
After 4 months, I'd say after a couple weeks.
That's true.
You got to go do more,
Fair
go
enough.
faster, go further, something. Or try a different cardio out.
Another exercise I think that's probably like the number 3 would be cycling. I'm not really talking about stationary on a bike, but like actually going out and biking hills and grades and really putting some effort into it. I think that would be a pretty good one if you're not used to that.
It is definitely different than riding an exercise bike. Last prep, was that last prep?
I think it's, last prep or 2 preps ago.
I was into biking, got my bike out and do miles and miles and miles. And it is not anything like sitting on an exercise bike. Believe me. But again, after a couple weeks of that, I have to go harder or I have to go further. Your body adapts and get used to it.
I will say, cyclist legs, if you look at their thighs, money. So there is something to it.
So when you're going up the hills, you got to go explosive. You're really cranking down on those pedals to get up the hills. That's what's building the muscles. Same with sprinters. Look at sprinters' legs.
Right.
Look at their whole physique, actually. They're just exploding. Using their fast switch muscles the whole time, exploding at 110%.
Absolutely.
Giving all effort they can. So they're ripped up. I mean, you got some muscles for sure.
Absolutely.
After that, what would you say?
I mean, my go-to for most of my cardio is elliptical. I mean, I can crank up that resistance or I can crank up my pace. And so that's usually my go-to. It's very accessible for me to actually use. And so low impact on the joints. So that's just my preference for cardio. I think it's pretty effective for me.
I do the elliptical, but I don't like it. I have to crank the resistance up so high to get my target heart rate. It's just, it looks like I'm going in slow-mo because I'm pushing, trying to get it going. So mine would be the step mill. I can get on that thing. I mean, my heart rate's up. I can get to my target heart rate in probably 2 minutes or less on that thing and just maintain, get in the zone, and keep stepping.
Let's talk about the step mill because we have a lot of clients that get on there and they do different things, and you'll see them doing like the leg lifts and all that, and it's like leave leg day to leg day and let's keep the step mill moving so you're doing that cardio.
Very good point. Also, if you're holding your body weight on the heart rate or the handles, wherever you're holding on, you're not supposed to put any weight. You're just supposed to put your hands there. Not hold on for balance, correct? If you're holding on, I've seen people leaning on it with their elbows on the heart rate, things like this, and all they're doing is stepping their feet. You're not doing it right. You're only doing half the cardio. I mean, you're holding your body weight up, so what are you stepping?
Yeah.
The weight of your legs? Okay, but that's not getting it done, and you're probably not even at your target heart rate doing that.
Yeah.
So let go. Do the steps like you're supposed to do the steps. Yes, it burns. Yes, it's hard. That's why it works so well.
Give it a chance too. I mean, usually I find that if I stay on for about 5 minutes, I start to kind of acclimate. The burn kind of loosens up a little bit. I can breathe a little better. So if you hop on, you're like 2 minutes in, you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. Just stay on a little longer, and I promise you, you'll kind of equalize and be able to go the distance there.
Agreed. And I am the same way with running. When I
true.
was in the Army, my first mile was always slower than my second. PT
Yeah.
test is 2 mile run. And literally every single PT test, my first mile was slower than my second. Just take me a while to get in the zone, get into the
breathing.
groove, get the breathing, get going. But once you got it, then you can roll with it.
One last thing on step mill. If you're clumsy like me, be wary. I mean, I don't know what it is about those little steps, but my toes get all pinched up and crunched. I miss the step. Like, I don't know. I'm not coordinated enough for that.
Common problem as well. Good point. I've had clients tell me they got to stare at their feet so they don't miss a step or jam their toes up in the step mill itself. If you have to do that, you're probably better off on something else.
I just get this like Final Destination vibe on that step mill. It's gonna go terrible for me. So yeah, no.
You could get sucked into the machine.
Yeah, I'm gonna get sucked in. It's bad.
Oh, I might have to knock the step mill back down now. So it does take slight athletic ability, and I've had Camille's not the only one. I've had several clients like, no, I can't. I have to stare down, and I don't want to do that while I'm doing it for 40 minutes doing cardio. I agree. If you have to look at your feet, go ahead and do something else.
Right.
And again, I'm not sure any of it matters as long as you're at your target heart rate.
Yeah, I've got something else on that. So I have one client, and she teaches like a body pump class. And she actually wasn't counting that as her cardio, but when we went back and looked at average target heart rate during that session, it was well in the cardio burn zone. And so that really needs to be included as cardio, not necessarily as a workout.
Yeah. I mean, if you all know Branch Warren, he walked his dogs.
Yeah.
That was his cardio. Of course, he's walking pretty fast to get to his target heart rate.
Poor dog.
But that's how he did his cardio. You know, he never hit a treadmill. He never did anything but walk his dogs.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
dogs probably loved it. But if you're at your target heart rate, I'm not sure it matters.
And technology is great. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the heart rate monitor where it goes around the chest. I mean, that's going to be the most accurate. But with all the Apple Watches and whatnot, Fitbits, I mean, we have more information disposable to us than we've ever had. So you can look and monitor the heart rate. It'll tell you the average for the duration. And so keep mindful of that.
A good rule of thumb, if you don't have a heart rate monitor, is to be out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hold a conversation, you're not at your target heart rate.
Yeah, I tell my clients, yes, no. It's like if you're conversing, you should only be able to say yes, no, not sustain a whole conversation.
You should be huffing and puffing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, so to recap, I'm not sure any of it matters as long as you're at your target heart rate. However, 20 plus years in the industry, I can tell you, swimming and running have produced the best results for clients over the last 20 years. Just don't beat yourself up running.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. I just, to your point, I never had access to a pool. So swimming, you know, I've never seen my clients do that. But I could believe it just looking at the amount of energy you're expending doing that.
Yeah. And I've only had 3 in 20 plus years use a pool for cardio.
Yeah.
So it's a very small sample. But all 3 of them got amazing results from it. And if you look at the calories Michael Phelps was eating
while
he was swimming, that should clue you in on how many calories you're burning while you're
swimming
swimming.
a lot, though.
He is, and he's an Olympic athlete, so don't think you're going to swim the same as him.
We're no Michael Phelps. All right. So, yeah, running, cycling, swimming. Be careful on the step mill.
And don't beat yourself up. I mean, we're bodybuilders. Number one goal is muscle mass.
Right.
Yes, you have to lose fat, but if you're beating yourself up and sacrificing your leg workout, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Change it.
Change it. Do less impact. And like I said, you can walk. You can do the elliptical.
There's
no
so
impact.
many options. So.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up with cardio. Just use it as a tool to lose the weight, lose the fat.
Oh, one last thing. I've had other preps where I actually had an injury and it made it hard to do cardio. And I ended up doing like the arm bike, and man, that thing sucks. You're just this. But my whole point is that there's options. So if your legs are getting beat up, they're getting sore, hey man, switch to that arm bike if you can find one.
That arm bike does suck. I agree with that 100%, especially if you're on that for 40 minutes.
Yeah, even just doing it for PT, if you've ever done it for PT, is not pleasant. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get that cardio in, get that heart rate up. So whatever it takes, that's what you got to do.
All right.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. Remember, this channel is for you guys. So if there's topics and things that you want to hear about, just drop us a comment and we'll film that for you. But thanks for tuning in and have a great day.
All right, y'all.